Islamic greeting is Assalamu alaikum. Lissalamu alaikum, meaning peace be upon you, with the standard response being Wa alaikumus salam, wa alaikumu lissalam, meaning and upon you be peace. A practice rooted in Quranic tradition to foster brotherhood and blessings, though shortened forms like salam are also used. While primarily for Muslims, it's a common greeting in Arabic-speaking cultures and can be used by non-Muslims to show respect, with responses varying in formality. The greeting and response is greeting, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Response, Wa alaikumus salam, and upon you be peace. Hey there. It's really great having you back with us. Right now, let's honestly talk about the amazing 4th Surah An-Nisa. Did you know the 4th chapter of the Quran is a powerhouse of social justice? It's called Surah An-Nisa, meaning the women. With 176 verses, this Medinan surah was revealed mostly after the Battle of Uhud to address the crisis of widows and orphans left behind. Surah An-Nisa is significant because it heavily focuses on women's rights. The word An-Nisa appears 18 times. It sets strict instructions for protecting orphans' property and introduces detailed laws of inheritance to ensure fairness for men and women alike. Crucially, it is here, in verse 4:3, that the famous guideline on marriage is found, limiting it to 4 wives only if absolute justice can be guaranteed. Otherwise, a man must marry just one. It also tackles relations with others and even clarifies the Islamic view of Jesus as a prophet, rejecting the concept of the Trinity. By the way, if you've heard of the 4 Quls, remember that Surah An-Nisa is not one of them. The Quls are the short protective chapters at the very end of the Quran. If you found this overview helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the Quranic surahs. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most significant chapters of the Quran, the 4th surah, Surah An-Nisa, which means the women. This beautiful and powerful chapter is the 2nd longest in the Quran, with 176 verses, and it was revealed in Medina. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore its profound messages together. First, let's talk about why it's named the women. The title itself tells us so much. The word An-Nisa appears 18 times in this surah, more than any other chapter in the entire Quran. This isn't just a coincidence, it signals the central theme. The surah is a powerful declaration of the rights, status, and importance of women in society, a revolutionary concept for its time and a timeless reminder for us today. Many scholars believe Surah An-Nisa was revealed in the years after the Battle of Uhud. This battle left many women widowed and children orphaned, creating a social crisis. The verses of this surah came down as a divine response, a blueprint for building a just and compassionate society that protects its most vulnerable members. It's a direct guide from Allah on how to care for one another and ensure justice prevails within the family and the community at large. One of the most prominent topics in Surah An-Nisa is the protection of orphans. Imagine the scene in Medina, families grieving and young children left without their fathers. Their property and well-being were at risk. The Quran addresses this head-on with strict and clear instructions. It commands believers to protect the property of orphans as if it were their own, to treat them with kindness and justice, and to ensure they are not exploited. The surah warns against consuming their wealth unjustly, describing it as a grave sin. It's about more than just financial management. It's about providing a nurturing and safe environment for these children to grow and thrive. This emphasis on social responsibility is a cornerstone of Islamic teachings, reminding us that a healthy community is one that looks after every single member, especially those who have lost their primary protectors. Now let's discuss marriage and the family unit, which are central to this surah. Verse 3 is one of the most widely discussed verses in the Quran as it addresses the topic of polygamy. It permits a man to marry up to 4 wives, but it comes with a massive condition. He must be able to treat them all with absolute justice. The verse continues by saying that if you fear you cannot be just, then you must marry only one. This condition of justice is not just about providing equal financial support. It encompasses emotional care, time, and kindness. Many scholars interpret this verse as a restriction on the unlimited polygamy practiced before Islam, setting a firm limit and tying it to the high standard of perfect equity. Ultimately, the spirit of the verse leans heavily towards monogamy as the ideal, as achieving perfect justice among multiple spouses is incredibly difficult, if not impossible. The surah frames marriage as a means of providing stability and compassion, especially in a time when many women were left without support. It's about building strong, just, and loving family foundations. Another revolutionary aspect of Surah An-Nisa is its detailed laws of inheritance. Before Islam, women and children were often completely excluded from receiving any inheritance. This surah completely changed that. It lays out specific, calculated shares for men, women, children, parents, and other relatives. It ensures that women, for the first time in that society, were granted a legal, undeniable right to inherit property from their fathers, husbands, and other family members. This was a radical step towards financial empowerment and security for women. The system is intricate and balanced, designed to ensure that wealth is distributed fairly within a family, preventing disputes and ensuring that everyone's needs are considered. These laws highlight a core principle in Islam. Economic justice is an essential part of a righteous society. It's not just about prayers and rituals. It's about creating a fair economic system right down to the family level. Beyond family matters, Surah An-Nisa champions the cause of justice in a much broader sense. Take a look at verse 135. It contains a powerful command that resonates through the ages. O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm in justice, witnesses for Allah, even if it be against yourselves or parents and relatives. Think about that for a moment. You are commanded to uphold justice, even when it's difficult, even when it goes against your own interests or the interests of your loved ones. This is the ultimate test of integrity. The verse doesn't differentiate between rich or poor. It says Allah is more worthy of both. Justice must be blind to social status, wealth, and personal relationships. It's a universal principle that applies to everyone in every situation. This single verse establishes a high moral standard for all believers, urging us to be pillars of justice in our communities, no matter the personal cost. It reminds us that our primary allegiance is to truth and fairness as witnesses for God. The surah also provides guidance on how to interact with others, including people from other faiths, known as the people of the book, Jews and Christians. It encourages dialogue and clarifies theological points of difference, while also establishing rules of engagement, especially during times of conflict. The surah addresses the issue of hypocrites within the Muslim community, teaching the believers how to identify them and be cautious. It also lays down rules for self-defense and warfare, emphasizing that fighting is only permissible to defend against aggression and injustice, and must be conducted within strict ethical limits. It's a comprehensive guide to navigating the complex social and political landscape, always steering the believers back towards the principles of justice, truth, and mercy. A very important theological point made in Surah An-Nisa is in verse 171, which addresses the nature of Jesus, or Isa, peace be upon him. The Quranic narrative is very clear here. It affirms Jesus as a righteous prophet, a messenger of God, and his word which he directed to Mary, and a spirit from him. It honors him and his mother Mary in the highest regard. However, the verse also explicitly rejects the concept of the Trinity and the idea of Jesus being the Son of God. It says, "Do not say 3, desist, it is better for you. Indeed, Allah is but one God." This verse is a cornerstone of Islamic theology, clarifying the concept of Tawheed, the absolute oneness of God. It presents a message of pure monotheism, inviting Christians to a common ground of worshipping the one true God, while respectfully clarifying the Islamic position on the nature of Jesus. Before we wrap up, I want to clarify something I see asked a lot. Sometimes people search for the fourth kul. This is a slight mix-up. The surah we've been discussing, An-Nisa, is the 4th chapter of the Quran. The 4 kuls, however, refer to a group of 4 very short, powerful surahs that are often recited for protection. They are called the kuls because they each begin with the Arabic word kul, which means say. These are Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah An-Nas, and Surah Al-Kafirun. The 4th one of this protective group is Surah An-Nas, which is actually the 114th and final surah of the Quran, not the 4th. So, Surah An-Nisa is the 4th chapter, while the 4th kul is typically referring to Surah An-Nas. It's an easy mistake to make, but now you know the difference. In summary, Surah An-Nisa is an incredibly rich and comprehensive chapter. It's a manual for social reform, a charter of rights for women and orphans, a guide to family life, and a call for absolute justice. It teaches us that faith is not just a personal matter between us and God. It is deeply connected to how we build our society, how we treat each other, and how we establish justice on earth. It's a message that is as relevant today as it was 1400 years ago. It challenges us to look at our own communities and ask, are we protecting the vulnerable? Are we upholding the rights of women? Are we standing firmly for justice even when it's hard? These are the timeless questions that Surah An-Nisa leaves us with. Seriously, imagine this insane situation. Back around 625 CE, right after the Battle of Uhud, the early Muslim community was absolutely crushed. They had so many widows and orphans to deal with, a total social crisis, you know? That's why An-Nisa came down. It was truly the ultimate playbook for fixing things up. It focused on critical legal and social changes to seriously solidify the community, right? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Surah An-Nisa. Seriously, I really hope we uncovered some beautiful wisdom in this amazing surah, right? I learned so much just preparing this for you. If this video truly resonated with you, definitely give it a quick thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives. You know? Tell me, what was your biggest personal takeaway from Surah An-Nisa? Share your reflections below. I genuinely want to chat. Until next time, may peace be with you.